a lot of business as usual was no longer practical, and eventually found is no longer necessary. So we're all, I think, pretty familiar with some big changes, the transition and acceleration to remote work. And with that, transformation and acceleration to remote education. And yeah, you could say 2020 saw a certain crystallization and conversion to a much more efficient economy. I think you could say it's the end of the commute and the end of business travel as we know it. The nexus of business activity shifted from the office to the home, and the nexus of shopping activity shifted from stores to the handset or the computer. Nexus shifted away from hotels, away from public squares. It became a lot harder for us to congregate. It became a lot harder to do things that required mass and motion. And as we found that we have to do things remotely, that accelerated the virtualization of entire segments of our economy.
Can you tell us a little bit about how that's affected the business operations?
I think most businesses realize now they have to have a virtual storefront. If you're going to sell goods or services, it's unlikely you're going to do them manually, in close contact. And as we have transitioned from doing things manually in a labor-intensive, capital-intensive, real estate-intensive fashion, we've realized our websites are more important, our social media presence is much more important, and the software that we use to either market the product or sell the product or service the product has become much more important. There's a real big shift to we talk about digital transformation. This was a massive acceleration in digital transformation of lots and lots of things. The things that we can dematerialize to software travel very, very quickly if we could virtualize it. And so virtual products, virtual services exploded in utility in the last 12 months. Manual products and services were much more challenged and attenuated. And of course, what we discovered is that financialization, anything that can be expressed as a financial product, was able to move virtually. We can move $1 million as easily as $1 billion, as easily as $1. And so those kind of businesses scale very rapidly. I think what we saw in 2020, as we call a K-shape recovery, we saw that manual Main Street based products and services they disseminated very slowly. They're very challenged. They have to be really completely rethought, and people shifted their demand away from them. And then on the other hand, financial products bounced back much more rapidly. You could almost say the political response to the pandemic is such that it's very challenging to do things that require material and manual labor, but governments found it's much easier to distribute virtual products, and the ultimate virtual product is money, and financial products. So the response to the pandemic tended to be a fiscal and a monetary stimulus response, and that resulted in an explosion of interest in those things. As the financial markets recovered, just about everybody started downloading the Square Cash application. They downloaded Robinhood. They started to focus upon financial activity. If you can't go to a sporting event and gamble on the sporting event, you can go to the stock market and you can gamble on the stock market because it's completely virtualized.
Yeah.
You know, the virtual wave's a paradigm shift, a big paradigm shift. The last major paradigm shift was the mobile wave, and that kicked off in 2010. And that was the leaping, the transformation of software from the desktop and the laptop to the mobile device. And the virtual wave is a dramatic acceleration in the dematerialization of processes and products, and the way that we interact with people. It used to be that we went to business events, and all of a sudden the business events dematerialized to be online events. It used to be we went to business meetings, and the business meetings dematerialized to be Zoom meetings. It used to be that we shipped products, and then the products dematerialized to software. So the virtual wave is just a dramatic transformation in the way that we live.
Who would you describe to be the big technology winners of the virtual wave?
As we transitioned from communicating to people in person, we started communicating online, and so you saw a dramatic growth in dependence on Twitter, right? I think we've seen an explosion in utilization of YouTube. People are now using YouTube to upload educational content as well as upload entertainment content. And in a world where you can't go to a football stadium and you're on your computer, or you can't go to a movie theater, then you tend to go to the products that make it easiest to stream that video. And so Twitter and YouTube are big winners. We all know the story of Zoom, which went from 10 million users to 400 million users in a matter of weeks. We've seen an explosion in social media. We've seen an explosion in online streaming video. We all know the stories of the entertainment online streaming services. I mean, Netflix is a big winner. Disney Plus has been a big winner. And in the business world, AWS, Azure, cloud service providers have seen an explosion in demand. All of these things are ways to virtualize a message, virtualize a service, virtualize a product.